a keyboard as I imagined the sound of her voice mingling with my Fortelle in my head. By the time she had finished singing, most of the phrases were in my head, and I felt I could play whenever I wanted. Although the piece itself wasn't very complicated, the simple melody was beautiful, and accentuated the girl's voice very well. I figured the tune was composed with lyrics in mind, so a Fortelle could accompany it in the background. I reclined against the door, watching the girl as I let my train of thoughts run. She was about to start singing again when she suddenly turned around and looked my way. Oh geez. She looked a lot older in the other picture. I'm sorry. I took it she was startled by her sudden visitor, as her body stiffened and she stood as if nailed to the ground. Oh, I didn't mean to interrupt you, it's just that the door was open. Sorry. Despite my apology for peeping in on her, it didn't seem like I was going to get any reaction. I did feel it was inappropriate to sneak a peek at her in such a way, but considering she was singing in a place people could pass by at any time, coupled with the fact that the door was ajar, I felt I wasn't entirely at fault. Is something the matter? The girl looked a bit frightened. To top it off, she kept giving me these accusatory glances, and she keeps blinking. I began feeling like I'd done something terrible to her. Moving away from the door, I had intended to leave her be. Then suddenly, as if she'd been waiting for me to move, the girl grabbed her bag and attempted to escape through the gap. Ugh. Did she just oh. She had tried to run off with her eyes cast downward to avoid eye contact, but ended up colliding with me. Textbooks and scores had fallen out of her open bag and were scattered about. In the middle of that scene sat the girl fallen smack on her behind. Are you okay? I was sort of afraid she might have hurt herself. It wasn't really my fault, but I did have my share in the cause. Want me to lend you a hand? However, the girl was just silently glancing up at me. Tears even began welling up in her eyes. I heard you singing by chance, so I just wanted to see for a bit. I said in a gentle tone of voice, then picked up the scores scattered on the floor and held them out to her. If I was bothering you, I'll be out of here in a minute. Here you go. The girl just stared at the scores and made no attempt to take them from me. Your scores? I considered leaving them at her feet and just walking away, but I felt that would be a little bit too cold-hearted. I'll leave them here, okay? I kinda wanted to ask her about the song, but with her acting like this, I probably wouldn't get a proper answer. It was probably best to leave her be after all. At long last, the girl nervously accepted the scores I was still holding out to her with her small white hands. They were trembling slightly. Please don't worry about it. It was my fault for entering unannounced. Was it really just surprise that caused her to act like this? There might have been an accidental cause. However, it did seem like I could inquire her about that. It appeared in the girl's best interest for me to just leave her be. I am sorry for listening in on you without permission, but you really are a good singer. Well then, if you'll excuse me. As the girl stood up and timidly wiped the dust from her clothes, I gave her a light bow and went for the door. I turned around to face the voice behind me. The girl was still looking downward, averting my gaze, but she seemed to be attempting to speak. Since this didn't go anywhere, I attempted to stimulate her. Is something the matter? The girl said with averted eyes, as though making some kind of excuse. Silly. I don't think it was silly at all. When I said you were a good singer, it wasn't intended as flattery. The girl hung her head and apologized again. There really was nothing that would warrant an apology here. What are you so sorry about? She went silent again. How was I supposed to get through to her? Since she spoke up to me, it would seem she didn't want to leave immediately. There was probably there probably wasn't anything else she would need to talk to me about, but her behavior sparked something inside me. While she didn't really resemble her, it made me think of Arietta when she was little. At the time, she was belittling herself for being the only one of us without musical talent, and she would always apologize, thinking that it was her fault. Granted, this was a long time ago, and by now, Ari had found things that she could be confident about. In any case, with the girl acting like this, I couldn't just leave her alone anymore. I understood from the color of her ribbon that she was a freshman, so I decided to speak to her more casually. Oh wait, she's a freshman. So she's like 14, dude, get out of there. Anyway, why were you practicing in a place like this? Why not use the practice room in the main building? I see. Since it's quiet here, it's a perfect place for you. She looked a bit stiff, but I was glad to see she at least seemed able to answer normally now. Hmm? A wave of silence. It appeared to be a habit of hers to apologize at the drop of a hat. No need to apologize that much. What's up? For no reason. I just happened to pass by and heard you singing. At the very least, I didn't come to this place with the laudable intent of practicing. Ha ha ha. I meant it as a joke, but it seemed to have flown right past her. In fact, I began to wonder whether or not she was even listening to me in the first place. You should make sure the door is closed from now on. There might be more people like me that get captivated by your voice and barge in. I jokingly left her some advice and attempted to leave when I heard an apologetic voice from behind me once again. Like I said, stop apologizing. I had to restrain myself from getting angry for a moment. I saw Ari from my memories in this girl. Ari would also keep apologizing to the kind teacher in my music class without ever listening to what she had to say. Oh, I hit the scroll. Okay, that was weird. As a result, I no longer felt like leaving the room. The girl probably felt I was meddling, but if my words could change something in her, at the very least, I'd been able to change Arietta. It seemed a change of subject was necessary. I didn't want to go home just yet. Not until she made it more clear she didn't want me here, at least. Dude, I don't think she wants you here. Anyways, she was about to cry. By the way, are you from the vocal department? I changed the subject to something less intimate. Less intimate? What are you talking about? It was a common etiquette to ask a fellow student you just met which department they were from. Also their name. Tara is a question mark. The girl seemed surprised at that. Did she find it strange that I changed the subject all of a sudden? Well, I just figured that was the case since your voice is so pretty. Am I wrong? I see. Since you're a freshman, was that some sort of training piece you sang? Some famous song? But it was a really nice song. I'm sure it was made by someone who loved to sing. You like that song, don't you? You seemed pretty into it just now. She wrote it, man. What was more, I couldn't see a score anywhere. It didn't seem like a terribly complex piece to learn from memory, but I praised it regardless. Anyone would be happy to hear their favorite song being praised. That was partly what I was going for. But even so, I genuinely felt it was a good song. The girls whose name I didn't even know finally seemed to have broken something akin to a smile. I'm Chris Verton. I'm a senior Fortellist. If it's alright with you, can we play that song just now together sometime? I decided to ask her as she seemed a bit more relaxed now. And in the back of my head I considered that maybe, just maybe, this could end up being becoming something more. She stood rooted to the floor with a surprised look on her face and didn't answer for a while. Did I say something wrong? Oh, if you don't want to, then never mind. It was just a random idea. I tried to brush it off as being no big deal, but the girl once again muttered an apology, eyes cast to the floor. Ah! This time she carried her bag properly closed under her arm as she ran past me this time. I felt disappointed at the thought of it ending here, so I called out to her one last time. Will you come here again? The girl stopped in her tracks and looked over her shoulder. I see. Sorry for bothering you. Lise. What? Leaving only that, the girl left. Perhaps she just felt obliged to let me know her name after I had already given her mine. She didn't look that upset to me, and although she said she wouldn't come again, I felt it wouldn't hurt to stop by her here once more. There was no guarantee I would meet her, and I might not even be welcome if I did. But I had the feeling that if I came back here, I would be able to see her again. I looked outside the window. It seemed as though the rain had calmed down. It was about time to go home. Recollecting the peace as well as the sound of her voice that remained in my ears, I idly began my trek home. Sort of. I dried my hair with the towel left at the front door and dropped my bag to the floor. I never touched my Fortelle in the end. But I got to hear a good song in return, so I didn't quite think I wasted my time. Something kind of peculiar happened. After my usual interaction with Forney, the day came to an end. I am going to save as soon as it... Yep. Oh, never mind. Okay, so the weekend just ended, I believe. Okay, yeah. I'm gonna save. Come back at a later time. And yeah, so thanks for watching.